Eastern Illinois head coach Jason Anderson, team picked third in the preseason poll, I believe 11th season now at EIU. So, coaches, some thoughts on your team entering this 2026 campaign?
Yeah, a lot of excitement over here. When they gave those guys that extra year, wasn't quite sure how many guys were going to walk through the door and sign up to do this again. And we ended up getting all of them from a team that won the regular season last year. So a lot of high hopes around here. Enjoy working with these guys every single day at practice. Like a lot of teams, an older group that knows what they're doing. So just a very enjoyable year up to this point.
Well, before we talk about this year, let's talk a little bit about last season and winning that regular season, which is obviously hard to play consistently across all those weeks of the season. Like, what did that mean for the program, and then how do you take that and kind of build on this regular season, even though it's a different roster?
Yeah, I mean, last year it took us a couple weekends to figure out, what our style was going to be. We a completely different team than the 38 win team from a couple years ago, and so we really figured out that we had a lot of good baseball players last year. I mean, we were tops in the country in sack bunts, which is not a huge recruiting tool for me, but when you can play as defense the way we did and pitch the way we did. We weren't trying to score 10 runs every game, and very rewarding as a coach to see a group buy into that and see it have success.
Since you've been around for and with EIU for a while, you probably have a style you want to play, but how does that work if you get a roster that maybe doesn't exactly have that? How do you change and like, okay, we're going to do more of this year? Is that hard, or how do you mesh that year to year?
That's the joy of being a coach. I mean, that's my job to adjust to what we have, and I'm trying to put guys in positions to have success individually and as a team. And anytime you can figure out that puzzle, figure out that formula, very rewarding as a coach. But it's not easy, and that's what we did. I think it was about week 3 or week 4 last year, where we just all got together and said that we're doing okay, but it's not enough to do what we want to do, and we really bought into a different style of baseball. And it was something kind of we all came together as a group with.
You've had fall ball, you've had practices. On February 5th, what do you like most about this team? And do you think maybe you'll like something different on May 1st, like if something else develops? But right now, what do you like best about it?
And first of all, I just love the guys. I mean, we had some guys that have been here 4, 5, 6 years that have really bought into what we've done. Guys that have had a lot of success. I mean, we got guys on this team that have a chance to win 3 rings in 4 years, which I think would be incredible. But with the team, it's experience and it's depth. These are good baseball players. We can win games a lot of different ways: pitching, defense, base running, power. So many different ways. It's going to be a real challenge for me to figure out, how we're going to attack weekends, but it's a very good problem to have.
Is there with your newcomers, and you said depth too, blending them in early, do you see something different? Like, the team will have to develop that on the field chemistry in February, March. Is that something that happens quick? Does it take 6 weeks? Does it just take a couple weekends? Because you mentioned, last year kind of starting slow in OVC play. How do you expect that to work for the team this year?
They've all played with each other a lot, and so like the chemistry should be there. We should go into the first game, expecting to play the style of baseball that we've played in the past and we know we can have success with. And so there isn't a whole ton of blending with this group. It's kind of go out and just do what we know we can do and try to play the best baseball we can, and hopefully that leads to wins.
Oh, I wanted to ask about you've had some success in former players making the major league level. A couple got called up last year. Will Klein won a World Series championship. I guess two parts to that. What's it like seeing your former players reach that high level? And then what's it do for, to say, hey, Eastern Illinois had a player who won a World Series championship last year?
I mean, for us as a program, super proud of those guys. I mean, they've represented what I wanted to do with this program from day one. I mean, Will's a perfect example of not being on the postseason roster for the Dodgers, just kind of throwing bullpens and not really expecting to, be a contributor on the World Series. And to call him up and say, "Hey, you're on the roster," you're probably going to get some garbage innings, and the next thing you know, it's 2 o'clock in the morning, it's the 16th inning, and his mentality kicks in of, I just got to put up scoreless innings if I want to win a World Series ring, and to go out and do it. Um, Nothing makes me happier than that. But, outside of that, I think they're just an inspiration for anybody that, to have three guys in one year get to the big leagues and to do the things that they're doing as first round picks and World Series champions, not only for our program, but other mid majors, kids that are in the area, to just be an inspiration that with baseball, anything can happen. If you work hard, you got a little bit of talent, and you got good people around you, why not? Why not? And all three of those guys, um, we didn't go into this thing thinking we're going to be big leaguers. We just went into it thinking let's be the best we can each day.
Do you know, like, is there a difference when you have someone on your roster, like, man, they could make the big leagues, or sometimes they develop and they leave and develop more, or opposite? Like, how did you know like those some of those guys would be big leaguers?
No, you never know. You just hope you have good people that, again, I'm just trying to get them a little bit better each day. And I'm trying to just keep them on track and treat them as individuals and allow them a chance to fail and to challenge them and knock them on their butt to see if they're going to get up. They all have those traits. Like, that's the thing I'm very proud of with the program, is that we're not afraid of hard. Like, we'll play anybody anywhere at any time in any weather. We're okay with hard, and that took us a while to get to that point.
Well, talk about your non-conference schedule and how that'll help develop you all heading into the conference play.
Yeah, I mean, obviously a lot of road games. We're going to go down to Florida A&M, who I think they won for 35 games last year. We're going to play 4 games right out of the chute. We may not get outside before we get down there, so they're going to be a good challenge. Then we go to Arkansas State in the second weekend, who is much improved. They had great pitching there, and then we head up a little bit closer to home in week 3 and 4 and play Northern Kentucky and Bellarmine, and then we hit Memphis on spring break, and then right into conference season.
Well, let's talk a little bit. We'll kind of end talking on a couple of conference things. You know, what do you expect across the league, even though you know everybody has new players? And then, maybe what's our favorite part of competing in this league year after year?
I think with the league, it's in all of college baseball, it's just constantly changing. Like, and you don't know when the curveball is going to come, where you get an extra year. I mean, half of the team that I have, I thought we're going to be moving on to either be pro ball players or accountants or get married or whatever. And here they are, where we're going to go scrimmage here in a couple hours, having them all back for another year. And so it's constantly changing. And within the league, I think this year, obviously, going to be a lot of older teams. It always boils down to me, when it comes down to just pitching. You got to stay healthy with your entire team, but you got to be able to pitch, because we're always going to be offensive, and you got to really have a plan and know how to get through a season with your pitching.
Well, Coach, appreciate your time as always. Best of luck to you and the Panthers throughout the whole 2026 season.
Thank you very much. Good luck, everybody.